broken stud down the bottom there. So I'm going to try and cheat and get it out by welding a nut and washer to it. And hopefully not have to pull everything off. So we'll see how we go, whether this works or not. So first I'll just weld that nut to the washer, and then I'll place it over the hole because the stud protrudes most of the way to the surface, and then I'll backfill the weld and then let it cool, and hopefully that'll give me enough bite to actually pull that nut out. We'll see how we go. I'll weld this first. Okay, so I've just put a couple of tacks on the nut onto the washer, and now I'll hold that over the stud and I'll fill that in with wet mic, and that should weld itself to the stud, and hopefully it won't attach to the actual manifold. We'll see how we go doing it this way. I've had some success in the past doing this, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I've wasted a little bit of time and I'm really no worse off. There we go, that's in place. Try welding a little bit onto that stud without the washer. I can actually see it quite well, so I won't get to that. Now, I haven't got gloves on because I just don't have the room. Don't have the room to maneuver with gloves in there, so hopefully I'll get a bit of welds. Hold a nut there, which I just dropped, of course. I'm right-handed, not left-handed, so I'm trying to also do this khaki-handed. What I'm doing now, I'm building an island up out of that nut. So I can slip a bigger nut over the top, and that way I've got something really meaty to bite into without actually affecting the outside of the nut. So I'm just going to go choose a bigger nut. I'll just pause it. Now once again I've chosen a larger nut so I can infill it, get the weld to stick to it. Once again I've dropped the nut, but I pulled out an assortment this time, so try again. Unless I can see that one. No. Yeah, that one's a little bit thicker. Hang on, I'll just find this drop nut. Found my nut that I dropped. Fuck me. Find the fucking thing again. Looks like I'm going to get another one. That other one's okay. I am first going to just try welding this on. I don't know if it'll be too deep for me to fill or not, but otherwise I'll weld a bit of wire to it. I just tack a bit of fence and wire to it. Okay, let's pause that. So what I've done is I've just started welding really low amperage to the wire attaches, taken the earth off, and now I've got a wire to hold that on in place instead of using wires, and it didn't fucking hang on. that'll just break off. It's not supposed to bite in, it's only supposed to be able to, just so that I can just sort of hold it in place and then weld on the very hard to get at, but when I do eventually get it to bite, hopefully it'll work. I have put it up a little bit over the top here, so if I put that over like that, and then infill it, we'll see how we go, eh? Might even be able to get my right hand in there now. Turn the amperage up first. See how we go. Off. That's why I don't want that wire attached too well, because I want to be able to break it off and get it out of the way. Now we'll try backfilling that. Okay, now I'm going to let that cool down a bit. The beauty too, the high intense heat will expand that stud a bit and break and help free it up by expanding and contracting when it cools back down. And I'm going to spray some of this stuff on it. I'll just grab it and show you. Some of this stuff. It's a Loctite product. I'm not paid by them to shoulder that. I just use it all the time on broken exhaust flanges and stuck exhaust flange bolts and that, which is primarily the best stuff it's made for. And it freezes the stud, which then makes it loose. So you put the straw on it so you can direct the spray. I'm going to try it now, just see how we go. Probably should have waited till it cooled down before I did this, but I'm always in a hurry. I've got to go to Laguna tomorrow to pick up, sorry, not tomorrow, the next day to pick up some parts. And I want to have this fixed before I have to head all that way. So that's been given a really good spray. Let's see if it did any good or if I just wasted time. Let's have the spanner. Probably would have helped if I had a look at what size nut that was before I welded it on, wouldn't it? Okay. Lead light stop. I'm just going to charge the lead light. It won't be a second. Okay. I've just swapped to using my phone light, simply because the other one went flat and it's charging. But just to recap, I've welded inside the nut onto the stud. I've then sprayed it with some this Loctite freeze and release. So what that does is it shrinks the stud, because you're spraying the stud, not the manifold or the head, and then puts lube, and it draws the lubricant in that because it shrinks. So now that's so loose now. Okay, you can see I didn't weld it real straight, but now I'll see if I can get my hand in this way. Okay. What is going on there? It moved a bit. Maybe it's hitting on the manifold because I didn't get it on 100% square. It's very hard to do in this little spot. So let's see if I can balance that there precariously, so I can use both hands. It feels like it's coming. Yeah, it's just a bit tight getting past the manifold because it's not welded on 100% square, that's all it is. So that's definitely coming out. Oh, there we go, now I can do it with my fingers now that I've got it past that point. There we go. Old mechanic's trick for removing broken manifold studs. Haven't had to remove the manifold or the turbo or anything like that. I'm hoping that the gasket's okay because it's only one stud broken and it wasn't broken for long. But it might all be in vain. I might find out that the gasket's leaking. We'll find out as soon as I find a new bolt to go in there and do it up. But as you can see, it wasn't attached by much. I just built weld up and it attached enough and filled in the top, and it attached enough for me to be able to undo that stud. Also, as I said, that stuff is magic. So I'm sure other manufacturers make a similar product if you can't find that one. But now I'll go chase a bolt. I have a pretty large, being a ex-mechanic, I have a pretty large collection of nuts and bolts. So I'll start going through all my nuts and bolts until I find one that is the right diameter, the right pitch on the thread and the right length. Okay, hopefully I've got one amongst all this. Okay, so just recapping, I had a broken bottom exhaust manifold stud. I've welded a nut onto the end of the stud, and then I found this bolt which is the same pitch and thread and roughly the same length thread. I've fitted that as temporary till I can get ordering the bolt. I've checked all the other bolts are tight, and they're all fine. I've tightened that one up. I've refitted the top on the vacuum pump so that it supplies vacuum for the brakes. I've also turned that round a little bit. It was rubbing against the dipstick, so I've just turned it so it's no longer rubbing. Refitted my harness to the back of the alternator. I never took off the B positive, but that I had enough room, but I didn't want to be moving this around. They're pretty delicate and they break wires pretty easy. I've already had to repair a broken wire in there already, which was giving me charging issues from when I bought it. So now I've reconnected the battery. We'll start it and we'll see if it leaks. If it leaks, that was all in vain, but it was only just weeping, it wasn't blowing out, so I'm hoping that hoping it doesn't leak. Sounds alright. Let's go around and have a look. Yeah, it's sealed, not leaking, so the gasket's fine. There might be a bit of smoke as all that oil and that I sprayed on it burns off. But anyway, that is how you use a welder to remove a broken stud or a nut and save yourself hours of unnecessary work. So now I can put the bonnet down. I'll just check my water while I'm sitting here. Yeah, it's all good. I swapped the green coolant simply because that's what I carry. It did have red in it. You can swap from red to green or vice versa, providing you do a flush, which I had took my radiator out and I took it down to a mate at Wong Radiators, and we pulled the tank off it and probed it and got any gunk out and pressure tested it and made sure it was all sealed and good to go for well, probably another decade if I look after it. So decade or more if you look after them. You can last the life of the car probably, but as long as you've got no stray earths and you keep good quality coolant in it and keep it changed, keep the bugs washed out of it and the mud washed out of it, they can last a hell of a long time. Alright, see you in the next video.